Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I am Deb Lutz, also known as D-Lux, and today is Thursday, July 20th, and I am joining you guys today to do the MLB 10-game slate. Haven't really done a lot of podcasting for MLB this summer, but I have been playing some. It's been a great summer. Really felt out of it when when the All-Star break came, but now we know we're into the throes of summer, the throes of baseball. There's not much else going on, and we're going to be, with you guys up until all the way through to the World Series. And I know that that DFS Coach Talk has been doing really well in baseball, and I'm hoping to continue that today. So let's talk about what we've got today. We have a 10-game slate, and it's split up. I'm going to give you my overall plays of the day, but know that in Discord, I will be posting lineups for both the main slate, which is really also the early slate today, as well as the evening or late slate. So we'll have a bunch of lineups coming at you in Discord. And what I'm going to do on this podcast is take you through, typical what Crash does as well. We'll start with our pitchers and who I like the most, who I think could be interesting value play, and who is fadeable. And then we'll get into the hitters and talk batter versus pitcher. We'll talk home run call, and then also give you some info on favorite stacks. So thanks for joining today. We got Travis Wyndham, who is first to join in. So happy to have you aboard, Travis. Thanks for joining us early. I know the timing is a little early today because of that early slate. And also I am on the East Coast today. So usually I come to you from Phoenix, but today I'm doing a little bit of traveling. I happen to be in New York. So for those of you who are in New York, hello to you East Coasters. It is really humid here. Not too hot, but crazy humid. That's the one thing I don't miss. I'm an East Coast girl, but being out in Phoenix, while it's really hot, it is that dry heat, and I like it. So anyway, we got Power to join us as well. How's it going, Power? Good morning to you. Early slate during the week. I know it's tough, man. It is tough because, everyone's supposed to be working, but maybe it's summertime. Maybe, you can take it a little easier and play a little DFS. I'll definitely talk to you about pay-ups in just a minute. So hang in there. And Doug L., how's it going? Hope you're doing well. I know you've been killing it on baseball, and look forward to seeing your lineups later today. Boy from Cali is with us as usual. Happy to hear from you, boy from Cali. How have your winnings been going? What's been going on with you? And then Travis, right, is at work. Exactly. I mean, this is a perfect distraction, right? Take a little lunch break, have some coffee, hang out with us, and listen to what's going on in the baseball world. So we have some really good matchups today. I would say from a pitching standpoint overall, we don't exactly have the roster of A pitchers. There's a few of them, but not as many as we had earlier in the week, like last night. Although what a crazy 2 nights ago, man. Whoever was calling overs 2 nights ago cashed in big, because we had, I think, the most runs scored since like the 1800s in a day of baseball. So how about that? Anyway, since I am in New York, I can play, which I'm happy about. As I've been traveling about a bit this summer, I've definitely hit some states where I have not been able to play, and that's been a bummer. But I'm all ready to go. My lineups are not complete yet, but I've reserved my spots, so I'm going to be ready to go as soon as we get off this pod. So keep throwing the questions out there in the comments, and make sure to like us on YouTube. Hit that like button, hit the thumbs up. The algorithm really helps us. It is competitive space out there, but we think we really give you a lot of good information in front of the paywall, and excited to do it. So with that, okay, let's dive into the games that we've got. I'll quickly go through each of the games and what we're seeing right now. Pretty consistent over under today. Arizona Atlanta kicks things off. I think this is a great pitching matchup. Got Zach Gallen on the mound against Spencer Strider. two good offensive teams. So we'll see if offense or pitching holds up. And I'll share with you in a little bit what I think's going to happen there. But Braves are hot, man. They have quite the lineup. And I think they got a couple of guys like in Austin Riley, Sean Murphy, who haven't even been hitting as well as I think they're going to do for the rest of the year. Next up is San Fran at Cincinnati. This one's one of the higher scoring totals, 9.5 runs, but also pretty good pitching matchup. Alex Cobb, reliable starter for San Fran, and Andrew Abbott, who's the, kind of one of the hot rookies for Cincinnati. So again, I think this over under might be a little bit aggressive at 9.5. But we will see. Next up, Milwaukee, Philadelphia. Oh, and by the way, no rain, no rain to speak of in those first two games. Not too much wind either. Same thing with the third game, very low precipitation chance, low wind. You got Corbin Burns. I think, I'm sure Crash is excited the way Burns has been playing. He's really, really hit his stride. After a rough start, the question is, can you rely on him? So that's a key question, particularly against Philadelphia. Great hitting lineup that also I think hasn't quite seen their potential. Trey Turner has had an off year so far. We'll see if he turns that around. And Bryce Harper has some really bizarre situation where he's just not hitting home runs. His average is there, but the home runs just aren't. So we'll see what happens today. Again, not much weather to rely on, and you've got Walker on the other side, who 11-3 record with a 4.0 ERA. That's I'd call that luck, and that's an 8.5 run over under. Next up, the 1:00 game is San Diego at Toronto. This here is an over under of 9. So again, right there in that pretty tight range. We're seeing a couple of decent pitchers, Blake Snell against Chris Bassett, a couple of veterans. San Diego, a nice hitting team. Toronto has hit Snell pretty decently. Some of those Toronto guys, particularly at the top of the order, with Springer and Merrifield. So this one, we'll see. This one might go over. But I'd say, I like the hitters in this game more than the pitchers. And then with the following game, another 1:00 game, Chicago at the Mets. The Mets are finally, beating a team, and it's only because Chicago is worse than them. And today we've got Kopech, who really has not had that great of a season, a little up and down. And, he was pretty terrific, I think, when he was a rookie 2 years ago, and hasn't really found that again this year. And Chicago, a free swinging team, just not, I think a lineup that could be good, but they're not putting it together at this point. And they're facing Jose Quintana, first time pitching in a Met uniform. He's been on the injured list, hasn't pitched a game yet. So we'll see what he brings, if he's fresh off of, the injured list and he's got something there, or if he still needs a few games to work things in. But I do expect a little bit more batting in this one. I think my home run call may even be from this game. So on to the next game, 2:10 start, Detroit at Kansas City. It's sort of a battle of the bottom. And you have Michael Lorenzen against my favorite, Zach Greinke. So, this one here, there is no line for it yet on my card. Not great hitting lineups, but, not the best pitching either, but might be some value in there. So we'll move on from there. And Minnesota, Seattle in the Dome, so no need to worry about weather. This is the lowest scoring over-under. This stadium is tough to hit in. Seattle has not been hitting the ball well at all. I don't know about the Mariners. I think they have way too much talent to be at 500. I don't think the manager's doing a very good job there. So we'll see what happens for the remainder of the summer. But Pablo Lopez on the mound for Minnesota. He's got some good stuff. You expect him to give Seattle some trouble. And then George Kirby, who also is a solid pitcher. So I don't mind the 7.5 run over under, and I will not be pulling too much from this game. Rounding out the ticket with the night games, we've got Baltimore at Tampa, Kyle Gibson against Tyler Glasnow. This is an 8.5 run over under in the Dome Stadium, so no issue with weather. I expect this one to go over. These are two really, really good hitting teams. Kyle Gibson, close to a 5 ERA. Glasnow's pitched well, but we'll see how many innings he pitches. They've really been keeping him pretty tight. So maybe Baltimore can get to the relief pitchers on Tampa. I do see this one going over, like a couple of players in this one, and not so much the pitchers. St. Louis at Chicago, 8:05 Eastern. This is one where I think there's going to be some hitting in this one. 8.5 run over under. Wouldn't expect it if it goes over. There is no chance of rain. The wind is 16 miles an hour left to right. So this is kind of the most wind we've got in any game. You can see balls flying out of Chicago. I like Chicago a lot against Mats, who just doesn't seem to have it anymore. He hasn't won a game yet this year, and he's close to a 5 ERA. I think this is definitely a hitting game. Stroman's had a great season, but a couple of guys, namely Goldschmidt, hit pretty well against him, and on the St. Louis side. So, I expect a good game here with some good runs being scored. And then the final game of the night, Houston and Oakland, the woefully poor hitting Oakland A's have Hogan Harris on the mound, who has a 6.5 ERA. Again, only expecting 8.5 runs here. 7 of those will probably come from Houston. JP France is on the mound for Houston. He did not have such a great outing, his last outing, but I expect him to bounce back and have a better game tonight. So that's it for the overview. Let's see what folks are saying here. Haven't seen any updates with lineups or news in general on the Coach Talk website. Okay. The website, right? So Josh has commented back on the website. So he likes but doesn't love Burns today. That's kind of where I am. So let's talk about the pitchers. I'm in like but not in love with Burns. So where are we at? I really like Andrew Abbott today. I think that his price is right. He has a .74 whip at home. That's almost unheard of, and it's across a decent number of games. He's pitching against San Francisco, which has the most strikeouts as a team in the National League, high strikeout rate. So I really like his upside today, and he's going to be one of my top pay up pitchers. My key, the key is, do you go for Spencer Strider? He is priced a lot higher, about 20% higher than the other higher priced pitchers. And I do think he's going to have a good game, but Arizona is a good hitting team. And I just don't think it's worth the extra money necessarily. And I'm much more interested in going against an Abbott who might be a little bit more under the radar screen and have some upside. I also think, Walker is interesting against Milwaukee. I like him. It looks like power. Power, scary as hell. I like Walker too. I agree. I definitely agree. And Lorenzen, everyone likes Lorenzen. I think Lorenzen is a good solid choice as well. Not necessarily for pay up, but I would definitely say Strider's not really my fade. So I don't think it's a bad choice to go to him. He's just really, really expensive, and you don't necessarily need to go there. My fade is actually Gallen. He's a favorite of mine. I love Gallen. But if you look at his numbers, he is a much better pitcher at home than he is on the road. The Braves are a beast at home, and so I'm a little nervous about him. His ERA on the road is 5.11, and it's 1.48 at home. So it's sort of a tale of two pitchers with Gallen, and up against the Atlanta Braves, I just would not trust it. So he is my fade. If I had to say, like, my top two from a pay up standpoint are probably Abbott and Burns. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Value pitcher. All right. So this one could be contentious. Let's see. I just want to check on one thing here, on the pricing of the pitchers before I shout that out. I want to pull that up. All right. Yeah. So, so there are some decent value pitchers today. I think where's Lorenzen? Yeah, Lorenzen on DK at 5,500 is a nice play, and I think that's what a lot of people are going to go for. I think that's kind of the obvious value play. $8,300 on FanDuel, so still pretty good as far as FanDuel pricing goes, but not exactly at the bottom as he is on DK. For me, I'm going with Zach Greinke. So this is definitely, I know it's going to be contentious. I know it's risky, but I've been the Greinke whisperer for like 2+ years now. And here's the deal. Greinke, just coming off the DL, so he's going to be fresh. His ERA at home is a full 4 points lower than it is on the road. So he's a 7.42 pitcher away and a 3.67 ERA at home. On May 27th, he pitched against Detroit and gave up in 5 innings. He gave up 1 run on 4 hits, no walks, and struck out 5. So he's got some history against them this year at home. He is a much better pitcher at home. Detroit doesn't scare me at all, and I just think he's going to be really low owned. He is the bare minimum 5,200 on DK. He is at the bottom, and I think he's like the second or third lowest pitcher at 6,900 on FanDuel. So he will be my value pitcher for sure in a GPP. I may go somebody like Lorenzen in my DK cash game, but I might go Greinke too. I just may go for it. So anyway, he is definitely my value play today. I'm making a hard stand on that, and I think it could be a winning call or very, very bad. Okay, so that's it for pitching for me. The only other thing I guess I wanted to say is if you are going to be playing the evening slate along with me, just 3 games to choose from, much smaller slate of pitchers. I don't like a lot of the pitchers at all. I do not like Gibson. I do not like Matz. I do not like Hogan Harris. So sort of by process of elimination, the 3 remaining are Glasnow, Stroman, and France. In order, I would be picking France, kind of mid-level, 8K on DK, 8,600 on FanDuel. Glasgow's pretty high priced, and he will be the favorite. I will probably throw him in as my other pitcher in on DK, but on FanDuel, I will not be going with him. Stroman's right behind, 9,300, 9,500. So sort of a toss-up price-wise between the two, and I probably favor Glasnow. I just think that Stroman, he's a good pitcher, but I think St. Louis is a better, Baltimore's a great hitting team too, but I don't think he's as good of a pitcher as Glasnow. I think Glasnow is sort of hitting his stride. So I'm probably going to go with France primarily, with Glasnow as the second option on DK. All right, so Zach Greinke, exactly. Going with Zach Greinke. Yeah, you got it. Okay, so those are the pitching situations. As far as the hitters go, we're starting with batter versus pitcher, and I like. Here's what I like. Just pulling things up here. Okay, I'm going to this Braves game, and I'm going to pick somebody a little less obvious. I'm going with Ozzie Albies. He's been red hot since June, batting in a great position, second in that order, sandwiched between Acuna and Riley. I mentioned earlier that Gallen is not the same pitcher on the road as he is at home. The Braves are lighting it up right now. If anything, it's hot there. The wind is out a little bit. I just think, the ball is going to be driving out there a bit. I'm going to go with Ozzie Albies, who is actually 4 for 8 against Gallen. So not a huge sample size, but you're batting 50% against the guy. You're seeing him pretty well. So he's my BVP. Home run calls. I got to go to an old favorite of mine, Pete Alonso. The guy is due. He's having a crappy year, but I watched him last night. I watched the game, and he was hitting the ball to right field, which he hasn't been doing in a long time. His slump has totally been, he's been like pulling everything. I saw him hit a really long fly to right field. He hasn't hit a home run since July 6th. So this is a guy, who's leading the league in home runs. He's absolutely due. Kopech gives up like 1.5 home runs per 9 innings, so a pretty high rate as well. So Alonso, even though he doesn't have any history against Kopech, he is my home run call. If you're looking at the evening games, again, I like a home run call from there as well. You'll see Chicago is going to be one of my stacks. But Bellinger, Cody Bellinger is on a roll. It's like the Cody Bellinger of 4 years ago. He's been playing great. He has, how many home runs has he hit so far this year? I mean, don't forget, this guy used to lead the league in home runs. He's had 12 so far this year. He's batting .311. He's had a nice streak of games the past few nights. No home runs though. Hasn't had a home run since the 15th. But in a span of the 6th to the 15th, he hit 5 of them. And so with the wind blowing out and a hot night in Chicago, and pitching against Mats, who is a lefty, Bellinger hits .346 against lefties, an OBS of 1.063. Just tremendous. He could be, for the evening, he could be my BVP and my home run call, but making a home run call on Bellinger. Power likes Francisco Alvarez. You know what? That's cool. I wouldn't mind that either. I do think, I mean, he's been knocking the ball out of the park. He's been the hottest hitter on the Mets. I wouldn't be surprised though. The reason I didn't pick him, I wouldn't be surprised if the Mets rest him. The lineup's not confirmed yet, so we'll wait on that. Actually, I'm going to refresh, see maybe it has been confirmed since we've been on the call, because Chicago has confirmed their lineup, and most of the other lineups have been confirmed as well. Let's see. Yeah, not confirmed yet. So let's wait and see. Otherwise, I do like that call, Doug. But I think there's a good chance they rest him. I think he's played the last few nights, so they may rest him tonight and then play him for the next 3 games later this week before he gets they have another day off. So we'll see what happens there. I like the call from Boy from Cali, Louis Robert Jr. double dong incoming. Love that. I mean, I have no idea what to expect from Jose Quintana at this point, but Louis Robert is pretty awesome. I do love him, so I like that call. Double dong. That's go play that one. That would get you some nice money. King of Smack, thank you for joining us. How's it going, man? Great to see you in here. Okay, so home run calls then, Alonso and Bellinger. For stacks, I like the Cubs. This will be for the evening, but they would be my top stack overall. Steven Matz is just abysmal. He cannot pitch anymore. They got to get rid of this guy at this point. He's just done. As I said, wind blowing. Chicago's offense has been good of late, getting better. It's really improving. I love the top of the lineup, Horner, Suzuki, and maybe, skipping Happ potentially and going to Bellinger, but you could throw Happ in there as well. Even the catcher, Gomes, he's a really good player. He does not play every day, but, decent player. He's had some success against Mats. So I wouldn't mind even, 1, 2, 4, 5 there. I think Wisdom has a shot at getting a home run off of Mats. A lot of righties in the lineup against this lefty. So definitely, love Chicago today. Before I continue, King Smack saying hello. Everyone's saying hi. Cameron Baldwin. Hey, what's going on? First time commenting. Well, thank you. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks for participating. Great to hear from you. I hope that you're able to win some money from our picks. And if you're interested, check us out. Like we are one of the most, I would say, sort of friendly groups when it comes to, DFS. I think our pricing is reasonable. If you join us, you get some great content, great lineups. We do full lineups for Fanduel and Yahoo. We do multiple sports. We hit all the major ones. So I would love to have you join us. All right, King of Smack says, who are we stacking? He likes Atlanta, Milwaukee, and Detroit, and some Mets lefties. I'm with you on the Mets lefties. I'm with you on Atlanta. I don't know about Milwaukee. I don't trust Milwaukee against Walker. I think Walker. I think Milwaukee away and Walker, not the best combination. And Detroit, I can't go against my man Granke, so I'm not going with Detroit. Don't agree with you there. But I do like Atlanta. How can you not? They will be expensive though. So in addition to Atlanta, like I said, I like the Cubs. The Astros, also another evening stack. I like them a lot. I like the middle of the order there with Tucker, Bregman, and Abreu. Abreu's been my call all year to be a turnaround player, and it's been working recently. His average is way up. His home runs are way up, and he's in a nice position in the lineup. So uh, Astros are another one of my picks. And then I like Tampa. We haven't really talked too much about them, but Kyle Gibson is, you know, he's okay, right? He is sort of an inning filler. Not the best, he's probably the fourth best starting pitcher in Baltimore right now. Not the greatest, 4.77 ERA. And Tampa's just, dangerous. They've got a really dangerous offense. So I like Tampa today, starting off with the man up top, Yandy Diaz, who's having a career year. Franco, Rayleigh, I like. Arozarena, I love. I always love Arozarena. So I'm probably, more inclined to go with Diaz, Franco, and Arozarena in a small little mini stack. Let's look at Gibson's numbers, lefty righty. He's definitely better against righties. So, although it evens up, that's this year. It evens up kind of if you look back further. But they're probably my second favorite stack of the morning games. Like I mentioned, I really do like Atlanta. I could go, Acuna, Albies, Riley. If you want to save a little money, go more like Albies, Riley, Olson, d'Arnaud. You could go really cheap down the bottom of the order and do Rosario, Arcia, and Harris. That wouldn't be crazy either. But I do like Atlanta today. What else, guys? What else do you guys like? Gibson gives up homers, but not a ton of runs. Okay, let's rally. Expand your thoughts on Granke. Okay. So Sila, thanks for joining. How's it going? All right. So if you missed at the top of the hour, here's the deal on Granke. I'm kind of the Granke whisperer. So I've called Granke several times over the past 2 years, and here's what the numbers look like. Yes, the reason that I like Granke is, particularly for GPP, is he's going to be incredibly low owned. He is the cheapest pitcher on DraftKings, and I think the second or third cheapest pitcher on Fanduel. People are going to be scared away by his 1-9 record. They're going to be scared away by the fact that he was just on the DL. But here's the thing on Granke. His ERA at home is 3.67, and away it's 7.42. He is a much different pitcher at home. He pitched against Detroit on May 27th, giving up in 5 innings, giving up 1 run on 4 hits with 5 strikeouts. So he's had a great showing already against them. Detroit, just their lineup doesn't scare me. And I just think this is a nice sneaky spot for Granke. So I'm like putting all my chips in there. I know people think I'm crazy. But and I see a lot of guys in the chat really not agreeing with me, and that's totally cool. Like that's why you kind of you take my advice, you look at other others and see what's going on out there, and you make your decisions. But we'll see. You guys will all be loving me tomorrow if he comes through, and if he doesn't, you're going to be like, I told you so. But just giving you my opinion. So King of Smack says, playing on FanDuel, if you're paying up a pitcher, you got to find that value. Detroit has cheap bats. Yep, Detroit does have cheap bats. But there's other cheap bats out there too. You can take a look for some cheap bats. You can take a look at Chicago. You can take a look at Cincinnati. And I think there's some cheap bats on the Mets too down the bottom of the lineup. So there's other bats out there. But look, I totally hear you. I think it's going to be a pretty, common play. So again, from a GPP standpoint, I'm gonna really focus on that. So and thank you, Doug, for the love. All right, cool. So any other thoughts and comments from the crew? There you go, King of Smack, right? Chicago bats are cheap and the Mets bottom half. Exactly. Totally agree. And the pitchers, unless you're paying up for Strider, pitchers aren't that crazy today either. So, all right, cool. Well, this has been fun, guys. Appreciate you. And like I said, join us in Discord. I'll be posting lineups probably in the next half hour or so for the early slate, or call it the main slate. And then in the evening, we'll get you the lineups for the evening slate as well. All righty. Awesome. Hey, guys, take care. Happy Thursday. Enjoy your summer, and I will see you real soon. I believe Crash is back again tomorrow for MLB, and stay with us as we look to crush it in DFS MLB.